how have you been using circles with students and staff lately?
I think we can start back at September.
Sure, that's a good place to start. Yeah,
big circle.
Yeah.
And so I'm new here to Kclc. It's my first year, and Patrick has been really welcoming and open to my many ideas, and some have been quite successful and some not. Or I wouldn't say not, but some have had challenges. So I work between both Kclc buildings, so Castle Garden Trail, and so in September for Orange Shirt Day, we wanted to bring everyone together from both locations, and so we had everyone come together for a large circle, and it was really amazing for a lot of students this was very new, one, bringing both locations together, and two, all coming together face to face in a circle. And it was amazing how people just landed in, because I think staff too were nervous and curious about what is this that we're about to participate in. But it was such a beautiful time. And obviously when you're trying new things, there's things that you learn from that time. So we learned not to have like unstructured time. Breaks were challenging. But as far as the circle went, it was beautiful how everyone came together just as equals, as people just coming together for the purpose of healing, of providing a space for people to tell their stories, to share our support collectively for Orange Shirt Day, for the residential school survivors, and for those still healing from the effects of colonization in residential schools, and to have a space where we could all meet where we're at, because people are at such different places for how they feel about it. And I think that circle was successful in being able to just acknowledge that we are all at such different places, and that doesn't make it not equal. It just makes it that we're in it together, and that looks different for each person. Yeah, what was your experience for that first big circle?
Well, my experience actually starts before the circle, and that was last year. And it's really amazing for me to think where we are now, and there's sort of like, so I think that I've recognized professionally and personally like the power, or like the meeting in circle. And I wanted to do that with kids here, and what would happen, or what happened when I tried it. So, you know, in my teacher brain, I, set things up. You know, I had chairs around and I set things up, and I was going to do a circle, right? And what happened was, because of this unique range of kids we have here, I had children who looked at that circle and said, I'm out. They got as far as the door and looked at that situation, and that was just too much, and they just didn't even want it. And that was a really great learning experience and reminder about, well, the power of circle, but also like the vulnerability and what can happen in it. And so it was like it was just such a cool exercise in empathy. And then I remember, and I'm glad you came back to September, because I remember being in that room, and it was so wonderful because I know the children, and it was so great to see, you know, their different, like their body language in terms of where they were in the circle, how they were, but everybody was in it, everyone was part of it. And there was just that, I just remember just seeing kids and how they were entering into it, what they were doing. And also it was the first time that you were able to talk about your journey. And that really was legitimizing, I think, and really set a beautiful stage of vulnerability. And then I look where we are now. And circle is becoming part of our fabric. And so it's really fun to be able to kind of see this, you know, this progression through to where we're at. And you know, and we had talked prior to shooting this about some of your experience, especially around those students here who identify as boys here, heterosexual boys. And I heard this in circle. I know we're going to be talking about circles, but we had a drum awakening at a circle in Coins, and I think it was either you or Bev who talked about strong men holding up strong women, and that super resonated with me. And circle is a place for boys to move through their vulnerability and start to become strong men, and also being able to see equally women and seeing just an equal circle. And so hopefully I'm not getting ahead of myself, but like those are now I see circle as a place that is just the idea of being able to check in with ourselves. And again, there's this deep empathy where those who decide that they want to say or participate in the circle, we just get a sense of where everyone is at. And that is, adults included. And so I think that there's something there's just something utterly so powerful in that. And I just, deep empathy is just such a great, beautiful place to start. And so that's, but it's so great to see that progression now, to see, where we've come to, and super exciting to see where we're going. Yeah.
And so for me, that was the kickoff to the year, really. And it was cool to see just how kids were buying in and engaging. And that was my biggest worry, was coming to a place where it's hard to build relationships, and it's hard for young people to trust adults when maybe that trust has been broken in the past. And but to see that we had our whole hallway lined with kids painting posters and making t-shirts. We had an assembly line of t-shirts going, and everyone was just so happy to help and wanting to help, and seeing a place there was something for everyone to do, whether it was just to kind of sit off on their own and paint an orange t-shirt, to having the t-shirt press and being manufacturing, or to be working as a group and painting the poster. It was really, it was beautiful to see how everyone really came together in those moments. And then since moving forward from that, we have our weekly circle with the juniors, which has been really amazing, and a really good place for them to just share and to be able to be open and to have the opportunity to just be heard in a moment. And some of them don't have anything to share, but to have the opportunity just to say pass, or all my relations, or whatever, however their pass is, but it comes to them every time it comes to them. And I notice that some days some have more to share than others, and that's okay, but they're seeing each other. And I notice that each week they see someone else talk, so then the next week more sometimes share. And being around the drum and starting with a smudge, I think that that's all really helped them to just land in a place where they understand me a little bit more on a deeper level, because I always share with kids that I'm not sharing these pieces to tell you this is how you should be in your life, that I'm sharing that this has worked for me. This is a part of my culture that I share openly with youth, because I feel like it's such good medicine for everybody to be in a community, to have your place, to hold your spot, and to drum and to smudge and to share these medicines that maybe later in their life, if they have an opportunity to engage in that, they'll be more open to it than had they not had that experience.
The other thing that I've felt and noticed is when we're in circle and you have a circle of adults and kids, I can tell you, because I know in that circle of kids, we have this just beautiful range of kids that have a diagnosis. It could be, it could be ADHD, it could be oppositional defiance disorder, it could be bipolar, it could be autism, it could be, a range of things. It could be kids with significant anxiety disorder. It could be kids that are gifted intellectually. We just have this beautiful range of kids, and it's so wild because when we move into circle, all that seems to just go away. There seems to be a dropping of all those things and just an equalization that I can't explain it, but it is just this thing where, and Brittany does, and I'm not saying this to make you feel good, but there's you also have this really great patience, with kids, especially when we're drumming, where kids, you can see the oppositional side come out, but they're accepted for the beat that they're keeping.
Mm.
And so that's just super, again, more empathy. And so that's another thing that I'm seeing here. You know, and I don't know, we'll talk, maybe hopefully get to talk a little bit about our experience with the Drum Awakening at Coins and so forth, but that was also another, you know,
Magical.
another thing for me where I saw a completely different side of our kids that I didn't know existed. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool.